Hello, everybody, and here is your July 1st waivers report. I haven't done a video in a while, but July has got a lot going on, so I wanted to share just some of the updates, kind of recap June and what is upcoming energetically, astrologically for July, as well as the events that we're going to be hosting in July. So as a little recap of June energy, May was a lot too, but we'll focus on June for now. So at the end of May, on May 25th, we had Jupiter shift into Gemini, which made June and Gemini season very extra Gemini, right? Because Jupiter had been in Taurus for a year. So Jupiter being our planet of expansion, spiritual growth, Jupiter gives us blessings, abundance, and just she tends to expand and heighten whatever she touches. And so whatever sign she's transiting, that archetype and that energy becomes really prevalent in our lives. It becomes a major focus, and we do tend to see expansion in that area. Now, of course, expansion can be good, and over expansion in some areas can be not so good, and then we have to learn how to kind of pull back and have balance and things like that. But since Jupiter has moved into Gemini, there has been an expansion of the Gemini energy, and I talked about this last month, which Gemini ruling the mental body. So this has a lot to do with the way that we think, our perspectives, right? The information that is available to us, that's how we learn, right? That's Gemini. We absorb information, we absorb experiences, and then we kind of learn from that. And it's how we share information, how we communicate, how we kind of connect with other people. And so this Jupiter and Gemini transit, which will last until next summer, there's going to be an expansion of information available, right? There's going to be rapid fire spreads of new information, previously unknown information. We're learning a lot of new things. We are trying new things as well. Gemini is very experimental. Gemini loves to try everything. Like, think of Gemini as being the buffet. We try a bunch of different things, we see what works, we see what we like, and then we kind of keep going from there. So this had a lot to do with the new operating system, which I'm going to talk about as well. Basically, we are changing our operating system. And this kind of occurred in June, where we did all the first waivers, and those of you that joined us in the light body activation and integration seminar, that's what we were doing. So for those of you who didn't join the seminar, a lot of the first waivers, whether you kind of knew it or not, we were going through the light body activation and integration. That had to do with Jupiter and Gemini and the new operating system. And so essentially what's happened in June was we are shifting out of the mind, the ego mind based operating system. And so this changes a lot of things. This is going to change how you operate on a daily basis. This is going to change your patterns, your behaviors, the way you see things, your perspectives, right? This is also going to have a wider impact on how we operate as a collective, how we operate as a society, as a humanity. So with the light body activations that happened in June, what we were doing was essentially, the light body is not a new technology. We operated in light bodies in the kind of Atlantis Lemurian time. That was the naturally designed vehicle for being on planet Earth, right? The carbon-based vessels that we have now that are very prone to things like pain, illness, disease, suffering, and frankly limitation, because we're very limited in the human vessel. We're limited to the five senses. We can only perceive less than 5% of all energy in existence. So this carbon-based vessel was not the original vehicle, the original human vehicle of being on Earth. This was a product of, we've talked about this before, but This was a product of a lot of the Atlantean experiments, etc. The ego programmed mind that was injected into humanity kept us in this very dense, lower vibrational vessels and vehicles, right? And then, of course, that spread into all of our systems and structures, belief systems. The way that this kind of illusion has been set up is all based on the mind and that operating system. So the light body is really returning to your natural state, your homeostasis state, which the body is designed to do things like self-heal, to be able to regenerate itself, right? To also be this very clear vessel for source energy to flow through, because we're all part of source. We're all God with God. So the light body allows that constant source energy to be flowing through us. And so this allows us to have more, health and wellness overall. Our vibrational capacity increases. So we're able to stay in those kind of higher vibrational states like joy, peace, authenticity, bliss, love, unity, like all of those high vibrational states are much easier to maintain, if you will, in the light body, because it's not as dense, it's not as heavy, and it's not as limited. So this is also intended was to bring online our natural gifts, our natural powers, our natural skills, which have always been there, but again, they were very limited or almost turned off inside of this kind of lower dimensional vessel. So a lot of you have been probably going through this light body integration. Again, like whether you kind of knew it or not, all the first wavers have been moving through that. We did do the activation and integration seminar in June, which was really powerful. And so we are still integrating that. So for those of you who did join that seminar, I know we've been getting a lot of feedback on just what we're all experiencing, kind of physically, emotionally, mentally, because it's going to be this whole summertime in which we continue to integrate this light body. And more so what I feel we're doing now is the light bodies are online, but it's the new operating system that we're still integrating. So it's shifting from the mind-based operating system to the heart-based operating system. The heart-based, or what we call 5D technology, crystal technology, that's all heart-based tech, right? And it's based on the heart-based operating system, which, is all of the divine traits, right? It's divine intelligence, it's empathy, it's compassion, it's full feeling, it's intuition, it's connection. So that new operating system, I think, we're still kind of going through that process. But what made this even more interesting is that on June 21st in the Northern Hemisphere, we celebrated the summer solstice. For those of you in the Southern Hemisphere, you celebrated the winter solstice, but nonetheless, it's a very similar energy. And on that day, we had a full moon in Capricorn at 1 degree. Now, normally, I think it is always extra special when we have like a new moon or a full moon or something along those lines that falls on a significant day, such as a portal day, an equinox, a solstice. It just makes it extra powerful. And so we did have that occur on the summer solstice, but what made it more interesting is that that full moon was at 1 degree of Capricorn, and exactly 30 days later, which is going to be July 21st, we are going to have a second full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees. So that covers the entire 30-degree spectrum of the sign of Capricorn. Now, of course, that's interesting because Capricorn has been the archetype, right? And Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. I know a lot of you, have researched and seen that Saturn was a highly hijacked and manipulated planet. Saturn has been freed and has returned to his natural divine state. So Saturn is no longer a hijacked planet, but Capricorn was kind of ruling the old world, right? And so the last 15 years, as we've had Pluto in Capricorn, the goal of that transit was to essentially be dismantling the matrix, the patriarchy, the old world that was very much based on suffering, struggle, greed, hierarchy, power, status, kind of like all these things that, you know, has become the goal, right? Everybody's striving for those things. And so Capricorn has kind of been holding up that old world, if you will, the matrix. And so as we shift through this 30-day window, it had come to me, and the download that Mom and the Galactics gave me was this was going to be a period of what they're calling the Great Severing. And this is basically a severing from the old operating system, which is the mind, and as well as severing from the old world, if you will, the old systems, the old structures. And so we're going through this process internally and externally. Internally, we are dismantling all of the belief systems and limited thought patterns and things that are keeping us attached to the old, right? The old way of being, the old way of doing. And externally, we are witnessing a very large severing happening between inside the collective consciousness, right? Where there is that split that we've all known and talked about. And I feel that split is really here. In that so many people within the collective, some are moving into the higher vibrational states. A lot are clinging to the old. And so this severing is getting really like a band-aid that's being pulled in both directions. And this is kind of preparing us in a way for the fall when Pluto dips back into that 29th degree of Capricorn, where we will have the second full moon. Pluto's going to go back into Capricorn September 1st, back to the 29th degree. He will stay there until November 19th. So yes, the elections will be during Pluto at 29 degrees Capricorn. We'll talk about that as we get closer. But after that, Pluto will station back into Aquarius and never will return to Capricorn. So this is a very kind of pivotal time of the old collapsing while the first wavers are anchoring into the new, right? And I've always talked about this. The new cannot come in, or I'm sorry, the old cannot collapse until the new blueprints, the new templates, the new energy has been anchored in by enough of us on the planet, right? You can't just have the old collapse and then there's nothing to step into. That would be chaotic, right? So that's the recap of June of what we've been going through. So just some of the symptoms I wanted to recap from the light body integration. And so for those of you who, like I said, who have probably been going through this process, maybe unknowingly, a lot of the symptoms were extreme tiredness. Like you needed way more rest than you normally would. Various aches and pains. This could range from migraines, a lot of kind of back, root, and sacral things as well, and a lot of stomach, solar plexus issues. So this could range, you know, in how that manifests. But if you've had any of those symptoms, especially the solar plexus issues, a lot of that is because the gut-brain axis is changing, again, because of the new operating system. So please be very in tune with your bodies and follow your guidance. Your angel teams are there to assist you. Please be talking to them. Please be asking them questions, and be really in tune with your body, because the light body is very divinely intelligent. It's going to let you know exactly what it needs, when it needs it. And the key for us is to just be in acceptance and surrender of whatever the body is asking for, right? Like if the body is really craving rest, please don't try to push it, you know, past what it's saying it can handle right now. You might be needing to change nutritionally and your eating patterns and behaviors. This is a great time to do parasite cleanses, candida cleanses. Candida is something that's been popping up for a lot of people. I myself, during the light body integration, went through a lot with the solar plexus. So my guidance was to cut out yeast and sugar for about a week, maybe a little bit longer than that. And that really helped. But again, what works for me might not work for you. All of our bodies are wildly unique. So just follow what your body is guiding. But if you are having the solar plexus issues, really get in tune and ask your angels for guidance and try switching things up a little bit. There just might be certain foods that right now aren't resonating. They can be reincorporated later, but the gut-brain axis is kind of going through a big rewiring in that way. So that's just a little recap of kind of what has been going on in June. And July, okay, so July and August every year are really powerful. I mean, every month is unique, right? There's really no like better, worse, like every month is pretty unique in its energetics. But July is always kind of a very powerful, a little bit fast-paced month. And this usually is because it's leading us up to the 8-8 Lionsgate portal, which is always big. I've never been through an 8-8 Lionsgate portal that wasn't like powerful, intense, and usually creates a lot of shakeups. And especially, as I said, this year, because this summer, it has a lot to do with us, especially the first wavers, stepping in and anchoring and embodying the new paradigm, right? In all of its facets, the light body, the new operating system. I'm going to get to the new templates that are coming in July. This is going to be a kind of full throttle operation this summer, preparing us again for when Pluto re-enters the 29th degree of Capricorn on September 1st. This is a big year. I've been saying it since January. It's an 8 universal year, which is always powerful. It's manifestations. It's things coming to fruition. It's the year of the dragon. So we can always kind of anticipate that this is going to be kind of one of those very intense years with a lot of changes. But July, so I'm going to go through a little bit of the astrological and just energetic themes of July. So the first thing to note is that Saturn did go retrograde at 19 degrees Pisces on June 29th. Now on July, I'm just checking my notes, July 2nd, Neptune is going to go retrograde in Pisces. Both of those planets are in the sign of Pisces. They're both going retrograde within days of one another. So the implications of this has a lot to do with Pisces is consciousness, not just collective consciousness, but we're talking about universal consciousness here. So there's going to be a lot of themes around illusions breaking, right? Suddenly getting like the rose-colored glasses ripped off, seeing things as they really are, not as we like want them to be, right? Not as we like wish that they were, but kind of facing what is. There's also a huge cleansing of the Atlantean Lemurian timeline because the Piscean age began shortly after the fall of Atlantis and Lemuria. So there's a lot of cleansing, rewriting, and correcting of that timeline going on. And Pisces has to do with our spiritual health, right? Our spiritual connection, our spiritual health and wellness. And so with these two planets retrograde, we can really anticipate a huge clearing and cleansing of our consciousness. And spiritual healing in many ways. And so what a lot of you are going to find, especially those of you who are in the first wave and are going through all of this anchoring and integration and things like that, is you're going to find that there's going to be new boundaries coming in. Saturn is really going to be placing a lot of protection energy and spiritual energetic boundaries around a lot of you, because as we sever, we go through this severing, which will culminate on July 21st, we have to protect our light bodies. We have to protect the anchoring of these blueprints and templates that we're going to be going through. And so sometimes we can't see clearly, right? There is those times like we don't really know. It's hard to read the energy. Like we maybe don't realize that a person, place, or thing is interfering with our energy. We don't maybe realize that a person, place, or thing is draining our energy. Sometimes we can't see that, right? We develop discernment, but we don't see everything. Okay, we're in a limited state down here. We're doing our best, but the angels do see it. The galactics do see it. So there's going to be a lot of that severing energy from people, places, and things that are interfering and taking energy from the divine energy that we're holding. And so don't be surprised if there are some new kind of boundaries that get put in place, some people, places, and things that phase out of your life during this time. This is for protection purposes. Everything comes back around. One of my phrases that I use a lot is nothing is personal and everything is temporary. So this helps us to be able to be in acceptance and kind of just move with the energies of what's happening. Sometimes people, places, and things fall out of our life, and because we get attached, we're like, oh, why is this happening? And we need to just surrender. Everything comes back around. Everyone is going to reach the destination. We're all going to go through this ascension together. Nothing is personal, everything is temporary. So when those kind of severings do happen, it is temporary, it is for protection purposes. Everything will be harmonized and united in the end, okay? So we will have Neptune retrograde and Saturn retrograde for the entire month of July, okay? July is also a numerology 6 month. So it's going to be a lot about embodiment. It's going to be a lot about harmony. Connection. The 6 is very connected to its soul family, those who are part of its tribe, right? We're going to be refocusing on nurturing, self-care, again, protecting our energetic boundaries. And this is a theme that is also occurring because of Cancer season. And this is the first Cancer season in 15 years that we do not have an opposition from Pluto, which means that we can actually finally, first of all, have a full release of our emotional body, which for many of us, we've done a lot of work along the way, but sometimes we just weren't able to because of that Pluto opposition. We're also all called to really refocus on self-care. Self-care and self-love is going to be the name of the game this month. This is the summer of love. That's what the Galactics said. And the summer of love includes self-love. So that's going to be a big topic I do discuss this month in our seminars as well. We need to know when we need to be self-loving and being in service to ourselves, and when we have the space and the capacity to be able to be in service to others and sharing love with others. We're going to really need to know how to keep that balance. Self-love and self-care and self-nurturing has been really low the last 15 years. So that is going to be one of the main focuses of this month as well. We will have a new moon in Cancer on July 5th. So that's going to be, again, giving us a new, fresh kind of journey with the sign of Cancer. There's no more Pluto opposition to it. And Cancer represents the divine mother, our connection to the mother, the connection to our inner mother, the healing of our mother wounds. Again, the themes of self-nurture, self-care, compassion for the self. We're going to be on a kind of new journey with that new moon in Cancer. Then we have the 7-7 portal. This is going to be big. The 7-7 portal every year, similar to Lionsgate. I've never been through a 7-7 portal that wasn't absolutely intense, and in good ways and sometimes challenging ways. But the number 7 in general obviously is about spiritual embodiment. It's about surrendering to the unknown. And I always visualize the number 7, and especially the 7-7 portal, as being linked to Saint Germain. 7 is his number. Think about the violet flame. This is like being purified on a deep spiritual level. So the 7-7 portal, when we pass through it, is almost like this primordial fire that burns away everything that does not serve us, everything that is, again, interfering, siphoning, taking of our spiritual energy. We go through a purification of that. So that's going to be a major date for us to focus on. Mars is going to enter Gemini on July 20th, the day before the full moon in Capricorn at 29 degrees, which is going to finish the culmination of this severing process. Mars in Gemini will be fun. It's going to give us a lot of fast-paced energy. This is when the energy is going to greatly shift, as right now we have a lot of planets in Cancer. So it's much more about healing, nurturing, being in your sacred space, and just really taking time for yourself. We will have Mercury and Venus in Leo, though, in the first part of the month, so that will always be fun. Again, Leo is joy, optimism, passion, and again, themes of love and self-love. So the summer of love is here. So don't get it misconstrued that yes, there's going to be a lot of intense energy, but this is very much the summer of love, and it's going to start with self-love. And then I do feel there's going to also be a lot of new connections with everyone, divine unions, things like that happening. The 21st, full moon in Capricorn, will be a big day. And then we'll enter Leo season the following day. And then towards the end of the month, on the 25th of July, we will celebrate the day out of time. This is the day that we really exit linear time. It's a great day for manifestation, for visualization. We can literally kind of be out of linear time, and we can create a lot, in that space. So that's going to be a big day to watch. Also on July 26th, the following day, we celebrate the Galactic New Year every year on July 26th. And Chiron will be going retrograde that day. So that's pretty interesting. That'll be a lot of like internal healing of wounds around self-empowerment, around stepping into the God self. So we will celebrate that on the Galactic New Year. So that is a lot of the energy astrological updates for July. Now, I do want to talk about some of the other themes that came through for July, and then I'm going to talk about the events that we will be hosting. So some of the themes are, of course, healing. A lot of the first waivers, as I mentioned, this is going to be a big theme this month around the self-healing, self-love. There is going to be a lot of new coming into fruition. A lot of the seeds we've planted, a lot of the energy we've pushed is going to come to fruition in July, okay? So we're going to have also a big kind of change in the sense of who we are. There's going to be, we're stepping into, with the light body, with the new operating system, with all of this, it's about coming into who we truly are. And so a lot of this is going to be new roles, higher roles. I think we're all going to have a much higher perspective of the energy work that we're doing. And so again, be in contact with your angels. It's going to kind of be an exciting time, and we really are going to have a lot of success, a lot of what we've been working on, finally seeing it come into fruition. So I'm excited. It is going to be kind of a action-packed, interesting month. But the events that we will be hosting is on the 7/7 portal. We will be having a light body maintenance seminar. So for those of you that joined us last month in the activation of that, we are being guided now to do monthly light body maintenance seminars. So it'll just be one class this time. And we will be going through updates on the light body. So anything that we've gotten feedback wise from the collective, as well as guidance from the galactics on upkeeping the light body, because remember, they are watching this all happen, so they are doing their research as well and seeing how we're integrating and how we're doing with these new vehicles. So we'll be getting guidance on further integrations and how to navigate the new operating system. So we'll be giving updates about the light body process, as well as doing a guided meditation like we did in the last seminar, to just cleanse, clear, restore anything that may be little things that have gotten into the light body. So we'll be doing that on the 7/7 portal. It'll be a really powerful day. And so we'll also be, putting out intentions through that seminar as well. We'll be doing like a meditation to put out the highest of intentions for the 7/7 portal, which is about all dreams of love coming true. So if you did not join us in the Light Body Seminar last month, but you do want to join the Maintenance Seminar, you can absolutely do that. Because as I said, a lot of you are going through this, like whether you were aware of it or not. There is a Light Body Activation Guide up on our site on the Library tab. So if you did not join the seminar last month, but you want to join the Maintenance, that's great. Anybody can join. And if you want to just look through that Light Body Activation Guide just to see if there's any of the protocols that you want to do before that seminar, that's great too. So that's going to be on 7/7. And then I will be hosting a Heaven Harmonics seminar later. I don't know the exact dates yet, but I'm feeling it's going to be somewhere between the 12th and the 15th of July, because we want to complete this before the full moon in Capricorn on July 21st. We want to finish this particular work we're going to do in this seminar before that full moon culminates and the severing is complete. So the guidance that I've gotten for this seminar is it is going to be a 3-part seminar. And what we are doing, okay, is now that we've got the light body integrated, we are integrating the new operating system. The next step is to anchor in and begin laying the foundation for the templates of New Earth. So just as like, what does that mean, right? Grids are a little bit of a different thing. The templates are basically a blueprint, right? So just like we each have a unique divine blueprint that is part of our higher self essence, it's just what makes you you. These templates are the templates that we had in Lemuria. So the whatever you want to call them, Lemurian templates, Heaven on Earth templates, Garden of Eden templates, these are the energetic templates, the foundations for which we were able to exist and build and create Heaven on Earth. So we are going to anchor in those templates before the severing completes. They said that this was really important. So the themes that I'm going to talk about in this seminar, the 3 different parts. The first part is going to be about anchoring in the heaven harmonics within yourself. So this is going to have to do with, I'm going to talk about a lot of different things. Self-love is going to be a big topic we talk about, as well as the balancing of the inner masculine and feminine energies. This is essential because balanced harmonics, as we call it, having a balance between inner masculine and feminine energies, yin and yang, also having a balance in your life between your physical and spiritual self, because both exist. That is what is going to keep us protected in the light body. If we're imbalanced, that's when, we're going to start needing more maintenance of the light body. We're going to start having issues. So I'm also going to, in that seminar, talk about the lower masculine and feminine energies that we need to be addressed and known and acknowledged so that we can transform those. This is, again, what we're doing with correcting the Atlantean timeline. This is where the lower feminine and masculine developed from. We're clearing that from the planet. So that's going to be the first part. The second part of the seminar is going to be talking about heaven harmonics in terms of relationships. Now, this is not just, romantic relationships, what you want to call that. Yes, that includes partnerships, romantic relationships, but this also includes all relationships in our lives, families, children, friends, co-workers. This is the new heaven template for how we form relationships with one another. Okay, this is going to be completely different than the old style of relationships. So we're going to be talking about transforming control dramas. We're going to talk about equal energy exchange and what that means. We're going to talk about boundaries. And again, we'll be addressing a lot of the lower relationship templates that exist, transforming those. And then the final seminar is going to be anchoring in heaven harmonic templates into your areas, so your homes and your communities and where you are located at. So we will talk a lot about, how to keep your home and your environment in the heaven harmonics template, because what we're doing here, right, is, as I said, for the old to crumble, the new and, the new paradigm templates need to be locked in place. So this starts with us individually, then we do it in our relationships, and then we do it in our actual environments. So I'll be talking a lot about how to keep your environment and your home on the Heaven Harmonics template. Essentially, right, what we're doing is, in order for the Garden of Eden, heaven on earth, whatever you want to call it, to manifest, it has to start with us. So first we need to cultivate that Garden of Eden within. Then we need to anchor that in our daily lives with the people that we are around all the time. Then we need to do it in our environments and our locations. Now, the reason that this is also really important is because, as I said, the Galactics shared that as this severing is happening, and as there's going to be a lot of events that happen collectively, whether it's Earth events, which I feel will be prevalent this month, with Saturn and Neptune retrograde in Pisces, we're looking at water events. It's not a fear thing, it's just this is something that's going to happen. There's going to be a lot of water events, flooding, hurricanes, tsunamis, etc. We are also going to have Mars, the planet of action and occurrences and events. Mars is in Taurus, and in the middle of July, he will conjunct Uranus in Taurus. Uranus is the planet of shock, the planet of surprise events, the planet of sudden releases, and Taurus rules the earth. So again, not trying to instill any fear whatsoever. We are all, again, divinely protected. Whatever it needs to unfold is part of the divine plan. But that does indicate to me astrologically earth events. So we might see a lot of events this month. Now, everyone who is guided to participate in this seminar. So if you are guided to, thank you for helping to do this work, because what we are trying to do is, again, set up a divine template within ourselves and in our direct environments, right? So we have bubbles of heaven on earth all over the planet. And when we do the third seminar and we set up these harmonics in your location, so in your town, in your community, we are trying to create these bubbles of heaven, these bubbles of the Heaven Harmonics template all over the planet, for not only divine protection for humanity, but also because the more locations we can get and the more of us that can anchor in these templates, the smoother this transition will be. We do not want chaos. We do not want catastrophic events. That is not, I surrender to the divine plan always. If that is the highest, that's the highest. I'm not in control. You're not in control. We surrender ultimately to Mom and Source and the Galactics and, and Father as well, to what is highest and best. But us all being boots on the ground, I think we can all agree that we're not looking for something catastrophic. We're not looking for apocalyptic energy. We would really like this to be a smoother transition. And so by us doing this, we are protecting Mother Earth, we are protecting ourselves, and we are doing our best to protect humanity during this transition. So that is the 2 seminars, events that we'll be hosting this month. I will put out more information about both of those. So I'll be sending out more information about the light body maintenance on 7/7, and I'll also send out more information as we get closer to the Heaven Harmonics seminar and giving kind of more details and updates on that. So yeah, happy July, everybody. It's been a whirlwind, but we are getting into both very exciting and a little bit of tumultuous, intense energies, but that's okay. We've learned how to ride the waves. We've learned how to stabilize, and thank you everybody who is doing this work. I cannot stress enough how important each of you doing this is. Like, each one of us doing this is monumentally important to the divine plan. You are helping to stabilize the divine plan. You are helping to stabilize Mother Earth. You are helping to quite literally lead humanity into the new paradigm. So I'm grateful for each and every one of you. I love you all. Happy July, and I'll be back soon with more updates.